There we go.
Alrighty, we're live.
No, we're not.
Episode 7.
We're not live.
We've made it. 1 month of this. We've been doing this for 1 month. We're 1/12 way there to our 1 year anniversary show.
Aw, what are we gonna do for our anniversary?
I don't know, but it's gonna be 4 hours long. Get excited. We're gonna start the promoting it now. What are the odds we're still doing this in 12 months?
I don't know. I don't know what the odds are that we're friends in 12 months. No, I'm kidding.
Alrighty. So this is our monthly what we watch this month podcast where we're gonna go through. Would you like to preface anything? Anything you'd like to say?
I did not watch as many things this month as I did last month.
Okay.
Last month I had a lot of free time before school started. But, we're busy people.
Yeah.
We have lives.
Yeah.
We can't sit down and binge television.
Yeah.
So don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, I don't think I have as much as I did last month.
Mm-hmm.
I probably like 1 or 2 less, not a whole lot less. A lot of Disney Plus.
We're
gonna be getting to
taking
Disney
advantage
Plus.
of Disney.
Yeah, well, it's more like Disney's taking advantage of me.
Heyo, topical.
Disney.
On that note, you want to start us off?
I'll start us off with a movie I watched on Hulu called The Art of Self-Defense.
Oh.
It's an indie film, dark comedy. And you know what? It's a karate movie, which I enjoy. It was like a really dark, sadistic Cobra Kai. Essentially, this guy gets...
Who's in that?
What?
Who's the main actor?
In what, Cobra Kai?
No, in The Art of Self-Defense. I think I remember seeing trailers.
Lex Luthor in Batman vs.
Jesse
Superman.
Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Yes. He did really good in this movie. He basically gets mugged and decides to join a self-defense class.
Sure.
They take it too seriously, and there's this thing called the night class. And the night class is like they fight each other to like they break each other's bones and stuff. Like
like a fight club.
It gets bloody, but I like movies that are like awkward comedies where like it's not going for like the big gut laugh. It's just it makes you feel so uncomfortable that you start laughing, and that is 100% in this movie.
Oh,
I would watch it again if you have Hulu. I definitely recommend it. It was a fun watch for me. I don't know that it might be in like my top 15 of last year.
No kidding.
I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I don't have much to say about it because it's not one of those big pop-in movies. But believe me, there's gonna be some stuff where I'm gonna have some words to say.
Mm-hmm. But you recommend?
I definitely recommend it. If you're into that kind of movie, it's definitely not for everyone. But if you're into that kind of movie where it's like so awkward it'll make you laugh, you're gonna for sure love this.
Sweet. The first movie on my list is Midsommar.
Ooh, Miss Pugh makes the list again.
Now, I'm not a huge horror movie person. I think they're fun. I can get into them, but for the most part, I watch movies to like be entertained by the story and like the characters, and horror movies usually, well, all the characters are expendable, so like there's not a whole lot of like energy and like all the like.
Is this like what kind of horror movie would you classify?
Midsommar is
it like psychological?
Yes.
Okay.
It is unlike any horror movie I've ever seen. I will say it is my favorite horror movie now.
Okay.
What Midsommar does, the whole thing takes place in Sweden during a specific festival.
Is it modern day?
Yes.
Okay.
During a time of the year where the sun does not set. It gets a little dark because it like dips behind the mountains, so you have like quote night scenes where it's just like a little darker, but like the whole movie is in the sunshine. And when I heard that, when this movie came out, I didn't see it for a while.
Yeah.
But when I heard it was
it's on Prime, right?
Right.
For people who want to check it out.
It's free on Prime.
I'm probably going to be checking it out.
You should.
I've been meaning to. There's a lot of Prime movies. They just added The Farewell, which I meant to watch, but I never got to it.
Midsommar.
I feel cutting you off. I feel like I keep cutting you off. I'm a terrible co-host.
No, you're fine.
I apologize.
Midsommar talks a lot, or it talks a lot. Oh man, I don't know how to talk about it without spoiling it.
That's how I felt about Hereditary. It's the same director.
It is.
Yeah.
Ari Aster.
Have you seen Hereditary?
I don't think I ever will.
That's a good call. It's not for everyone. It's good, but it's
Midsommar has some moments where I was really questioning why I was doing it at all. Like, oh man,
towards the end
of the movie, like what Midsummer does is some of the characters sort of like disappear for a while, and they're like, oh, where did that guy go? And then at the end of the movie, you find out like where they've been, and like, oh,
yeah,
something so graphic happens that every time I close my eyes, I see that image.
Oh no.
So good luck.
Yeah, I
You'll
definitely. I mean, there's a scene in Hereditary that honestly, I whenever someone mentions a movie, I just think of it and I want to throw up.
I think Ari Aster is.
He's a messed up man. He's a sick man.
He is, but it's working for him.
He's a great filmmaker.
So yeah, Midsummer,
Alrighty.
I recommend it.
I watched a classic film from back in the old times. It has no freaking audio. That's how old it is.
Whoa.
But I watched Metropolis.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have.
You have. What did you think about it?
I liked it.
I'm usually not a big fan of movies that came out around that time period. Because to me, the first half is very solid. Like, they have their plot. And then to me, the second half is just kind of like filler. Like, oh, well, we need this to be however long.
What parts of it? Like,
but this movie I didn't feel that with. That's why I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Metropolis. I like the robot like suit. I thought it was really neat. I'm into all that sci-fi stuff and like miniatures and stuff. Like, I've probably seen like, I know I talk about Star Wars every podcast, but I've watched like the behind the scenes for Star Wars like a million times, and just like I love the way they incorporate, well, for Star Wars like CG in the miniatures, but for this it's all miniatures.
Oh yeah.
And it's just insane what they were able to pull off with like the flooding scenes and stuff. Like, they actually had to get like water, and like the way they shot it is just brilliant. So I thought it was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it. If you're definitely into film and like the history of film and sci-fi and stuff, for sure check it out. Again, this isn't a movie this for sure isn't a movie for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. You got anything you'd like to plop onto that?
Plop. Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. Like you, I'm not crazy into older movies because I think they were still like developing like over the years, and going back to some of the underdeveloped movies can be painful.
Yeah.
But I think Metropolis definitely stands out, and it's worth watching.
For sure. Alrighty, what's next on your list?
Next for me is a television show.
Ooh.
I watched both of the seasons that are out. It's called You.
Okay, I've heard of this, but I haven't seen it. It's a Netflix show, right?
It is.
Okay.
It's based off a book series, and it's about a guy who obsesses over like specific women to the point of like manipulating and controlling their lives behind the scenes.
Do you relate to this?
Come on, man. How dare you?
I had to. You set it up.
Well, what the show does is that it grounds the character in some scenes.
Did they make you like him in the beginning, and then
Yes.
you find out he's a creep?
Well, no, actually, they do something interesting.
Okay.
They go in and out.
Okay.
Where it's like he does something horrible, and you're like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah.
And then
It's like Johnny from Cobra Kai. No, I love Johnny all around. Johnny could do no.
I don't want to talk about Cobra
I'm
Kai
sorry.
right now.
Can I just say, they released the first look at season 2 a year ago, and from season 1 to season 2, it only took them like 9 months to release. So I'm like, where's our look at season 3 of Cobra Kai? Because like, there's a cliffhanger. It was more of a stair hanger. Someone got kicked off a flight of stairs and basically like snapped their freaking neck. And I need to know what happens to him. Is he going to be paralyzed? Is he going to be able to be fixed? I just derailed your entire segment. Continue.
If you want a Cobra Kai dedicated episode,
We should
you
make
can
a
do
Cobra
that.
Kai dedicated episode.
All right.
No, we should make 20 episodes, each dedicated to one episode of Cobra Kai, and
Oh my
they're
God.
2 hours long each.
Oh my God! Back to You. It's about a character who's really obsessive and manipulative.
Yeah.
And so when you watch it, you're sort of like, I can't relate to this. But then,
Hopefully.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then, like every couple of episodes, there will be something that brings him back to a very relatable and human standpoint. Like they'll explain something that happened to him,
Okay.
and it doesn't excuse him, but it does make you understand him a little bit more.
Okay.
So it's a really fascinating, like, oh, he kills people.
Ooh.
Like he will hunt down like this girl's ex,
Okay.
and like
There's so many good
destroyed
Netflix
them.
shows I still gotta check out.
I would say that
and you're selling me on this right now.
You is good. I will say that
I want to check out
does-
Russian Doll, and I know you've seen that.
Russian Doll's incredible.
Which do I check out first, you or Russian Doll?
Russian Doll is shorter.
Which do I check out first, though, quality-wise?
Quality Russian Doll.
Okay. I like Natasha Lyonne, so I'm excited.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, to cap off my thoughts on You, I think it goes on a little long because it's like 10 episodes each, like
Okay.
40 to an hour. You could cut out like half of each season.
Oh, dang.
Full honesty.
Okay.
Like the girl will be like, "I don't like you anymore, Joe," and then like,
Is it at least entertaining?
yes.
Okay, because I know
Oh,
like Breaking Bad people are like, oh, you could cut out like half of each episode, but I'm like, I liked watching Walt eat breakfast and his son complaining about pancakes. Like, to me, that was like the highlight of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely humanizes
Okay.
the world, and it's realistic.
Okay, I'm excited then. I might give that one a go.
I highly recommend it.
Alrighty, is that your final?
That is it on You.
All right. Now I'm gonna get into the next 1, 2, 3, 4 are gonna be all Disney Plus.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You're welcome, Mickey.
Yeah. The first one is a movie I haven't seen since I was a young chap finding my way in the world, around 4 or 5 years old, and that is the CG anime. It was Pixar's second CG animated movie. It's A Bug's Life. Have you seen A Bug's Life?
A very long time ago,
Yeah.
yes. I remember enjoying it, but I also remember being too young to understand it.
It's kind of messed up. There's some messed up jokes in that. I enjoyed it. I really did. The animation's gorgeous, especially for the time. And you get that classic Randy Newman song at the end where he goes, I'm a bug, little bug, little bug. And Randy Newman is probably one of the America's finest treasures. And
Really? Randy Newman.
Randy Newman goes, you got a friend in me. Between that and I'm a bug. It's so good. So you've seen A Bug's Life now, but not since you were a young boy. Same as I.
Isn't it about communism?
Shoot, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it though. Cast was great.
Oh yeah.
I just really enjoyed the movie. I really don't have much to say on it, but it was nostalgic.
Would you recommend it for adults?
I think if you like animation, yes, because it's
Okay.
like the beginning of 3D CG. I think if you have kids, your kids are going to enjoy it, and it's not going to be one of those movies where like you're like, oh, I have to sit through this. I think you'll actually enjoy it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on A Bug's Life.
All right. The next movie I saw was The Witch.
I hate The Witch.
Really?
I cannot stand The Witch.
What do you hate about it?
It's just frickin'. Well, how long is the movie? 90 minutes? So,
It's pretty short.
70 of it is just frickin' old-timey, like, oh, I gotta go get the pedal off the stones and the oven and the well, get the water. Oh, it's very time period-y. And then, like, the 10 last minutes is when you get, like, all the witch stuff. I'm just bored. It was boring.
Really?
I got it on Black Friday
I
for
thought
$3.
it was all build up.
Oh.
And I thought it was interesting because
The acting was good. I
acting was
love
great.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
I'm aware of how much you love Anya Taylor-Joy.
That's enough we'll say on that.
All right. I think because, right, you have this, it's a movie about hysteria, right? Like, it opens with a family being driven out of a town
Yeah.
because of, like, what the wife did.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, get on out of there. And so, right, the movie starts off by saying, like, the fears of the commune, like, really dictate what happens. And then that gets translated into this whole, like, superstition about there being, like, a witch or, like, something supernatural, right? And because, like, you don't know who to trust. And
Yeah.
each character is, like, sinful in a way. Like, the mom, like, obviously did what she did.
Mm.
And then the husband is very prideful. and the son is like looking at his sister weird and like looking her down her dress and like
I do remember that now.
And, like,
I saw this movie a year ago. I don't remember what happened.
And, like,
I remember the little brother was a
children.
little creep.
He was a little creepy.
Yeah. Doesn't something bad happen?
Oh yeah, something related to that.
Yeah. I don't remember what. I just remember.
I won't spoil it, but he wasn't thinking with his head.
Do some hand motions to try to explain to me what happens.
That's not good for podcasting.
I know
All
it's not good for podcasting, but I feel like the people. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Wait, to his sister. No. To who? Oh, yes. Okay. Who took it out? The witch take it out.
All right, you know what? Never mind. I watched The Witch. I thought it was great. I recommend it.
Okay. Who directed that?
No idea.
Okay, I don't either. We're very professional here. We're not even going to bother looking it up. The next show I watch is a classic, a soon-to-be classic, a cult classic.
Oh, you're laughing a lot.
It's a show on Disney Plus that I think everyone should watch. A show I finished.
Oh my god.
It is called High School Musical, the series.
No.
Yes. And I gotta say, I loved this show. I genuinely enjoyed it. Here's the thing. It knows what it is. It knows the concept is cheesy, over the top, and borderline bad. It knows it. It plays with it.
How does it show you that it knows it?
It knows it. From the dialogue and the characters, they know.
Are you confusing that with it just being bad?
No, I genuinely think you would not be able to make this series without knowing. It's so cheesy. The dialogue... So there's a character... There's a scene where a character named Big Red is flirting with a woman, and just to give you a taste of the dialogue, and he's a technician for the high. Let me break down the show. So this show,
my God.
the show is basically they're doing kids go to the school that they shot High School Musical in, and they're doing a musical of High School Musical.
Oh my God.
But it's not a movie, it's a TV show. So it's called High School Musical, the series. Okay? Does that make sense?
I'm following so far.
So to give you a taste, there's a character named Big Red, and he falls in love. He falls for a gal, and he's the technician for the show. So he's trying to figure out lights, and he goes. At one point, he goes, "I don't know how to turn these lights on," and she goes, "You turn lights on by walking into a room," or something like that to that point. And it was so funny. And then at the end, they had to build drama because they set up a happy ending, but then also they needed a cliffhanger. So
Right.
the main character calls this girl, and they talk about this summer camp they went to. And they just need it for exposition. Like, we've never seen this character before. So to get the character to get off the FaceTime phone with her grandma calls her and she goes, "I'm coming, Grandma, chill," and then just hangs up the phone, and then you never see the character. That's the only scene the character gets. But here's what I will say.
Oh my God.
They set up season 2. So they just announced season 2.
All right.
The high school. Well, the way they set it up in the show is they're basically the last 2 episodes take place during their production of High School Musical, the musical, because it's the series. Don't get
Oh
it.
my God. Stop.
So they're doing the musical, and they're like, "Wow, the production value is crazy." And the way they set up season 2 is the teacher looks at them and goes, "Oh, if you think this is crazy," and then she looks to the camera and says, "Wait till you see what I got planned for the spring musical," and winks right into the camera. And then they just announced that season 2, it's gonna be the production of Beauty and the Beast. So do they still call it High School Musical, the series? Or do they call it Beauty and the Beast, the musical, the series?
So the series would be called the musical, the series.
The musical, the series. Beauty and the Beast, the beautiful, the Beauty and the Beast, the musical, the series. You've seen a couple episodes of this show.
I remember you showing.
I dragged you through it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I'll say. Here's what I will say. Each character, no joke. Each character, and I can't say this about most TV shows. Okay,
all right.
This is what's blowing my mind.
You built it up.
Each character genuinely has an arc. And stuff that if you had told me this is going to happen to this character, I would have laughed in your face. But watching it and seeing it happens, I can't believe I'm admitting this. You genuinely feel something for them, which I was not expecting.
Interesting.
There's a divorce arc. One of the kids, his parents is getting divorced, and there's moments in it where you genuinely feel for this kid. Like, you feel for all the kids. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. That's how I know they know what they're doing, and they're like joking around. Also, there's a Disney Plus's version of an acid trip scene where the teacher passes out and has a fantasy, and there's a cameo from one of the actors in the original High School Musical.
Which one?
And well, should I spoil it?
I guess not.
Okay. Well, it's basically Disney Plus's version of an acid trip. This show is just so funny, over the top, and lighthearted. I genuinely cannot wait for season 2. I genuinely cannot wait.
Wow.
It's no Mandalorian, but it's good. It's genuinely good. It's like Riverdale without the sex.
Huh. So an entirely different show.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But
Is
it's
that
still the same concept where, like, if the kids aren't together, their parents are together.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn. I don't know why shows like that are so popular nowadays.
I don't know. Riverdale's weird because, like, the kids will be dating and the parents will be dating.
And then the children watching will be like, that's content.
Yeah. Gosh, America. I love Riverdale. I can't even pretend.
We're not talking about Riverdale.
I know, we're talking about High School Musical, the musical. The series.
All right. What are your final notes on that?
Well, let me take a sip of water.
All right.
If you're a fan of the originals, if you're just looking for something to watch, give it a go. Give it a go. Why not?
So not like a high recommendation, but like
if you're a fan,
you're
you
absolutely
need to watch
exhausted of options.
Not even. It genuinely has like really good moments in it.
Okay, yeah.
It's cringy on purpose.
Interesting.
There's a scene where, one more scene example, where this kid is dancing in the gym and one of the teachers walks in and goes, "Isn't there somewhere you're supposed to be?" And the kid turns to him and goes, "Yeah, Broadway."
I can't even.
So
I went to
good.
school with people like
Oh
that.
my gosh,
So,
I need more
know.
water. I'm dehydrated. I guzzled
right.
that down talking about High School Musical. I'm gonna go grab some while you set up your new list.
Sweet. I watched a movie that I really did not enjoy.
Oh boy.
It was for my cinema class. So it was one of those assigned movies that you watch and then you like review for a grade. So I already went into it not expecting it to be something that I would enjoy necessarily. But I watched Paths of Glory.
What is that?
It is. I think it's Stanley Kubrick's second film. It's something really early. It's black and white. It's relatively short,
Okay.
but it's one of those movies where it's a really interesting concept.
But the execution?
It's just driven into the ground.
That's how I feel about Chipotle. The restaurant. I like the concept, but I'm just not a fan of the execution.
I have so many questions. The concept of what? A restaurant?
I like the concept of a Subway, but it's for tacos. But the issue is they stuff so much stuff in there and they like pound it in. And usually I like that. There's a place where I'm from called Moe's and they do it perfectly. The issue is they don't mix the stuff around, so it's like I take one bite off one side because you can't fit the whole thing. It's a melon. You can't fit it in your mouth.
Yeah.
You've been to a Moe's. Okay.
But at Chipotle, you just
what's
get
it called?
You get
What's
the
the
bowl
thing
and then
called
you
at
stir
Moe's
it.
you get? What's it called when you the home wrecker? That's what it's called.
Yeah.
It's so good. And with Chipotle, it's like you take one bite of one side, it's hot. Take one side, one side's cold. I'm like, let's mix it together. Let it go. Remember when McDonald's used to serve the burger where they had it in the special box, and it was like you're your meat is hot, but then on the other box they had your lettuce and tomato, so it stayed. Oh my gosh, I keep it stays cold. Do you remember that?
Are you okay?
No, I'm not. I'm very passionate right now. Do you remember that?
No. Why the hell are we talking about this?
So you watched the Stanley Kubrick movie?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You and the tangents today.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm very hyper. I don't know why.
I gotcha. Anyway, Paths of Glory. It's about it's World War I. It's about this military leader who tries to he's a little deranged.
Okay.
So he tries to attack a fort and they lose. They lose the fight. A lot of people, like, they're getting demolished for like half an hour. And then when they all retreat, the military general's like, yo, why didn't we win that war? That was embarrassing. That was stupid. I'm going to start punishing people.
Mm-hmm.
And so he orders to murder, like, a section of the soldiers to, like, set an example.
Uh-huh.
And so this one captain is trying to argue him out of it. And both of their boss is like, all right, you know what? We'll compromise. You can kill 3 random soldiers.
Okay.
And it's the story, it's about, like, this captain, who's arguably the main character, who kind of has to issue out this order he doesn't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
And these 3 poor random soldiers are picked out of an entire battlefield. And it's like, we're going to draw you and shoot you.
Dang.
In front of everyone.
Yeah.
To set an example. And these 3 soldiers
Sounds
are
like Kubrick.
These 3 soldiers are like, this kind of blows.
Yeah.
And
as one would be.
Right. So it was fascinating in the sense that, like, it's a great concept, but, I don't want to judge Kubrick because, like, how do you judge Kubrick?
Yeah.
He's very good. He's very talented. He's proven that. But this is his early work, and I think there's a reason this one is not as highly celebrated as some of his others because he's still figuring himself out.
That's acceptable.
So overall, it was okay. I don't know if I would recommend it, though.
Okay. Alrighty. How many do you have left on your list?
I have 2.
I have 4.
Okay.
So do you want me just to crank off 2?
Yeah, 2 in a row. Go for it.
Do you have never mind. We'll figure it out. I'm going to crank this one off. I'm going to jump out of the Disney Plus because I still got more.
Okay.
But I'm going to take a dive into the Transformers world because I watched my first Transformers movie this month.
Wow.
And I watched what was...
Where were you in 2013?
I watched what I was told was the best one in the franchise, which is the most recent one, Bumblebee.
Huh.
And if that's the best in the franchise, yikes.
Were you not a fan of Bumblebee? It's got that girl you like.
Why, when aliens land on Earth, why is it always in LA or San Francisco?
Well, that's Hollywood, baby.
I was just like, the music, I like the music. The music choices were good. It was all 80s. It takes place in the 80s.
Oh.
So it's all 80s music. John Cena is the villain. He does his... he's good. He's genuinely good. I mean, he does a John Cena job, you know? He's not...
I loved him in Blockers.
He was fantastic.
Blockers?
We watched Blockers together. Blockers was really good.
I love that movie, unironically.
That movie is actually really good. But I mean, it's just like the way this movie's written, they set stuff up where the character, like... so she goes through stuff with her dad, but the way they set it up is like she wakes up in the morning and like she has a picture of her and her dad by her side and she touches it, goes, "Morning, Dad," and just like stuff like that.
Okay,
just
so
stuff
very like
I don't want to talk about my dad. Like there's a point where Bumblebee is watching a VHS tapes and he puts in a video, and it's a video of her dad at her diving meet. There's also a diving subplot which I will dive into later.
Oh my god. No.
And she's like, Bumblebee puts the VHS in the player. She's like, "Don't touch that. Don't ever play that." And I don't even remember if it was resolved because the movie's so forgettable. But I did not like it. And I love the director. He was the director who did Kubo and the Two Strings. So I was like, let's party with Bumblebee, baby. Like, no, it didn't work.
That's too bad.
Oh yeah, so this diving subplot. Basically, she used to be on a diving team, but then I think like while her dad was driving home from her diving meet, he got in a car accident and died. So she's not swimming anymore.
A car
accident. And the last thing her and her dad used to do was repair a car. And all she wants for her birthday is a car. The brother in this movie, her brother's kind of funny. I mean, he's kind of a dipshit, but that's kind of why he's enjoyable.
No, it's a Transformers movie, so you need a few dipshits.
Yeah, so basically this freaking diving subplot is just, she basically does, like, I'll never dive, and I knew it. I said, I feel like at the climax of this film, she's going to have to dive off of something into water.
If they set it up like that. Then.
And guess what happens at the end?
Oh, no.
She's on top of a giant building thing that's going to collapse. So the slow motion hits, and all of a sudden we cut to this horribly keyed green screen shot of her jumping, and it's in slow motion, and then Bumblebee catches her, and it's just, oh my gosh, I couldn't bear it. Also, I watched a lot of Impractical Jokers this week, but that has nothing to do with anything. I feel like you can't really review that.
Why bring it up then?
I don't know. I guess I'm this week's biggest loser. All right, Duncan, why don't you stop standing freaking 20 feet away?
Sorry, I had to do something.
Oh.
Did you bring up Impractical Jokers just to make that pun?
No, I brought it up because you were walking 20 feet away, and I was like, well, it's going to be awkward if we go silent, and I didn't want to give you more editing work because I'm a good friend. Duncan edits all these podcasts, by the way, so let him know in the comments what a great job he's doing because he deserves all the praise in the world.
Wow, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it, though. Did you want to do 2 in a row?
Oh.
Another?
Why not? I think you've seen this. I don't know if it's on your list.
Let's talk about it.
Better Call Saul season 4.
Ooh.
Is it on your list or no?
I forgot to add it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now you've just finished the 6th episode, right?
Yes, so I'm not completely caught up.
I just finished the entirety of season 4, and oh my gosh, I'm so bummed that I think this show has this season that they're airing right now and the next season, and then it's done.
That's it.
I'm like, this show was filling that the way you actually got me to watch this show, because I watched Breaking Bad, and I was like, I don't know, when you described the show as filling in that little Breaking Bad hole left in your heart.
Absolutely.
And the show has, and I'm like, oh no, like, soon there's going to be nothing.
Part of me thinks that the show's creator, like, finished Breaking Bad and was like, finally, I finished that story. But, like, he just couldn't leave that world behind.
It's such a good world.
Right?
It's so good. Like,
you wouldn't think it would be. Like,
yeah.
Drugs in New Mexico? All right,
yeah.
Whatever. But, like, the character work he does and the way all the stories and elements sort of, like, work together. And, like, especially in a prequel, right? He's setting up all of these, like...
I will say this season is probably the most Breaking Bad that the show has gotten.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just enjoyed it. I like that they keep... I don't really think Mike and Saul crossed paths in this season at all.
So far, they're kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, I kind of like that, though, because they're going to eventually.
Oh, yeah. Because
Breaking Bad. And when that happens, I cannot wait to see what happens.
Oh, man. How do you think this show's going to end?
I hope they do, like, kind of what Breaking Bad did, where, like, we've been getting these flash-forward scenes.
Yeah.
And I really hope that the very last episode, or maybe last 2 episodes, takes place in that timeline, because I'm so curious.
Right?
Like,
they keep giving you these little, like...
I feel like they're setting it up so where you feel like Saul needs to pay for his sins. Because I'm like, oh, we didn't see Kim, and I love Kim, and, like, she's not in Breaking Bad.
No, she's not.
And I'm like, oh no, like, is he going to do something where he's responsible for her, or is she just going to leave? I could see her either both ways. I could see her either leaving him.
Right.
Or she dies. I could honestly see them going either way with it. And I'm not ready to see her die. The freaking last season, it was a little spoiler for last season, but the car accident from last season messed me up.
It was done so well.
Yeah.
So I really felt it. Here's the thing. Kim was written to be an anti-Skylar.
Yeah.
So, like...
Oh, I never knew that. Is that, like, legit? I can see that.
Because Skylar was well-intentioned and sort of, like, on the sidelines, but she was hated, like, by the entire community. They were like, oh, kill Skylar.
Kill Skylar. And I never wanted them to kill Skylar,
right.
But I never liked Skylar.
So, I'm sure the creator was a little frustrated that, like, he had, like, an alternative response to this character.
That's kind of cool, because I love the character of Kim.
So he wrote Kim to be involved and, like, her own character and very, like... dynamic, and like the episode I just watched, right? She's trying to get this woman to show up to court, even though she's like scared to.
Yeah.
And Kim is like getting punished at her.
I
own
low
job
key
for
kind
it.
of want to rewatch the entire series.
It's
Like
really
it's
good.
so good.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Here's my thing. I don't think Saul is Saul, right? When he is in Breaking Bad, the Better Call Saul character, he's not evil, right? He's sleazy
Yeah.
and money driven, but there are definite moments where like the Jimmy comes out
Yeah, yeah.
and like he's very human.
Yeah.
So
And you never knew that watching Breaking
Right.
Bad, which I love about
during
the
Breaking
show.
Bad, you're like, whoa, who's this?
I remember
guy?
finding out watching the first episode and be like, wait, he had a brother? Like, what? Whoa, like all this stuff. Like, he was like a family dude in the beginning of the series.
Absolutely.
And now you're definitely seeing him like evolve into what he was in Breaking Bad, and I'm loving it.
So here's the thing. Breaking Bad tried to redeem Walt. And depending on how you watched the show, you can like make that decision if you did or didn't. How do you think, because like Better Call Saul could end with like the prequel element catching up to the modern day, and then he's like Gene whatever in the future.
Yeah.
And then Gene like, I don't know, gets hit by a car and dies. And like that would be like a very anticlimactic, like, well, he got what he deserved.
I wouldn't want that. I'd want
Right.
that. I would want a whole episode if they were to do something
But
like
like, what sort of redemption, if they were going to give him one, would you think?
that. I don't think he should have a redemption.
Okay.
I think, oh gosh, I know this is cheesy, but I think it'd be kind of neat if at the end, like maybe, okay, Kim decides, wait, this is bad, she leaves, and then maybe she sees him in the mall as that dude.
Yeah.
I forgot what his
Gene.
name. Gene. And maybe they just kind of like, you could even honestly end it like that, where they just kind of look at each other.
Yeah. you
And
could.
she like knows, or just like drive some crazy thing where I don't know how they're gonna end this series.
I'm fascinated.
What are the
to see
what are the
that.
odds that we see Walter White?
I would say very, very, very low.
Yeah, I don't think it I think at most maybe they'd show a clip from Breaking Bad,
Right.
and that's how they end the
Well, it was
quote unquote
interesting.
modern day.
In the episode I just
Yeah.
watched, again, like they're in the cold open, it was him in the law office with like the pillars and the Constitution behind it.
It was like, wasn't that a clip from Breaking Bad?
Right.
Yeah.
And that whole time. So I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, they're actually like starting to catch up and like jump to those scenes. So like they definitely could like
I think
recreate
either the
scenes.
next episode 7 or 8 has one of my favorite openings of the series.
God,
And it's just done really well. It's done really well.
I think as soon as you go, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I might finish it tonight. Oh, what a show! All right, well we've gone on that long enough.
Alrighty, so that's our
It's a great
thoughts.
show. Recommend
Definitely
it.
watch
it.
Breaking Bad first if you
Oh,
haven't.
yeah,
Breaking Bad is a ride.
it's must watch
Mm-hmm.
for sure. It's not for everyone, but if you're into filmmaking in any way, Breaking
Alrighty.
Bad is a masterpiece.
I have technically 3. 2 of them are the same thing, but like one's new and one's old. But I watched
Okay.
both. So
I have 2 more.
So do one of yours.
Okay, I watched Knives Out.
Yes! I'm so happy.
Wow.
When did you get it? Did you buy it or rent it?
I rented it a few days ago.
Okay. Yes. I'm so happy you finally saw it. I did not know you watched it.
It was so... I was saving it for this.
Oh, yes.
It was so, like... Okay, well, I missed this movie when it was in theaters.
Mm.
I wanted to watch it. Timing didn't work out. Never got around to it. But I heard this crazy buzz about it. And, like... I avoided spoilers as much as I could. So I really went in blind. And... Here's the thing. I loved it. I loved Knives Out on its own. I thought it was incredible. I really wish that I did see it in theaters and not let it build up over time.
Yeah.
Because I think this movie is a little anticlimactic on purpose, right?
I did not feel that way.
Not to like spoil it, but like the reveal. Of
Okay,
the
you know, I get what you're saying now.
Because like it's this whole like, who did this, right? This event, and the answer is sort of like non-traditional.
It's not what you expect.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally fine to like pull that off. But
Can I
for
say the
me-
marketing team did a fantastic job?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
for me, that movie has been out for months. I think since November. And so this whole time I've been hearing like this, who did it? And I'm looking at the cast and I'm like, oh, which one of you did it?
Yeah.
And then when you find it out, you're sort of like, that's really interesting. But I wish I didn't spend 4 months thinking about who did it. You know?
Ryan Johnson
subverted my expectations.
Subverted your expectations,
God
you
damn
can
it.
say.
He keeps doing that.
I know.
But I thought
You
this
should
movie...
give him a Star Wars movie. I bet everyone would love that.
Ooh.
I like The Last Jedi. I love The
we know
Last
you do.
Jedi.
We know you do.
I'm a big supporter.
Knives Out, I think, did everything it could have done right.
Yes.
I can't think of one part of the movie I didn't enjoy. Well, okay. No, you know what? I was going to say I kind of wish that Daniel Craig's character was the main character.
Well, he's actually good. They announced that they're doing like
He's gonna do a sequel
where
right?
it's his character.
So that's where I get tripped up a little, because he, in this movie...
What'd you think of the donut?
I loved that.
That's the best. That's the best.
Incredible.
That's the best dialogue of 2020. I'm not going to spoil it, but that's the best dialogue of 2019.
It does so much to his character and stuff. Here's the thing. In this movie, he was very reactionary.
Yeah.
Like, until the end when he sort of, like, pieces it together. And, like, because the plot, we see things that he doesn't see. And so that doesn't help us relate to him.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're watching a movie with a detective main character, the detective's discoveries are what we discover with him. So it's like we're along for the ride. But we're along for the ride with Ana de Armas's character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to pronounce
Marta is the character's
Marta.
name.
And, right, so we're in tune with Marta and her story. And if she's not going to be in the sequel, then, you know...
I think it's going to be like a loose sequel.
A loose sequel. Like a different case? Or just a continuation of the story?
No. Like, it's a loose sequel in the fact that, like, Daniel Craig's character is the only one you're going to be following.
Okay.
From the original.
I mean, I would do that if I was...
You can't bring back the other characters and have it make sense, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know?
So it would make sense that where it's a new case, a new project for Daniel Craig.
You can definitely have callbacks to it.
Oh, yeah. And, like, set up that world and stuff. For sure.
Knives Out 2, Stab, Boogaloo. There you go.
I hope they
Ryan Johnson, if you want to buy that title from me.
There's some gold.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought this movie was really fascinating and a really interesting critique of that sort of culture surrounding death and, like, the will and what you leave behind.
Yeah.
Because, right, like, again, I don't want to spoil it, but, like, you have all...
This is one of those movies where it's very hard to talk about without...
Right. You have all these, like, people in this family who are, like, just waiting to get that fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And the things they go to, like... Or the things they'll imply they'll do to, like, get their hands on that fortune are really sinister.
Yeah.
Specifically Michael Shannon's character.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Michael Shannon has a scene in this movie
great.
that cracked me up.
Oh, my God.
Michael Shannon has a bad tendency to crack me up during movies.
What a powerhouse acting team, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
best.
Collette
That was, like, the best
and,
cast
like, Chris
of
Evans
a movie I've seen in a long time.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Knives Out is a must-watch.
Frank Oz was in it.
He was.
I was like, yes, give some love to Frank Oz.
What an interesting choice. Like, you could have had
Oh, well, he
anyone
definitely
else.
met him through Last Jedi for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh my gosh. That makes me so happy that they're probably like BFFs. I just like to imagine Frank Oz and Ryan Johnson out
Ryan's just like, hey, Frank.
out on the town.
Getting milkshakes.
Alrighty. Is that all you have to say about your Knives coming out?
Yes.
All right. So I didn't finish this show, but I sure as hell watched half the second season, and that is Star Wars Resistance Season 2 on Disney Plus.
I've never heard of that.
You haven't? Okay. Well, there's probably good reason. It got a lot of flack when it came out because people were like, "Oh, this is a Clone Wars. This is a Rebels. This is for children." And hell yeah, it is. But I'm a canon junkie, and I need to know everything that's happening in the Star Wars timeline. I know more about what's happening in the Star Wars timeline than I do actual like real world events. That's not even me being sarcastic. That is 100% truthful.
I think you need to watch the news more often.
But Here's what I'll say about all the Star Wars animated shows. Seasons 1 and 2 are usually very kiddie. And season 2 is the final season of the show because it did get a lot of bad flack. It was too bad no one really watched it because I think comparing just the first seasons to Clone Wars...
Everything deserves a chance.
Comparing the first season of this show to Clone Wars and Rebels, this one had the strongest first season I felt.
Wow.
And the way these shows work is they basically grow with their audience. So like Rebels was kiddie season 1. Season 2 got a little more serious. Season 3 is one of the best seasons, I think. And then season 4 is just like kicking ass and taking names. Like it's some of the best Star Wars in years. And then Clone Wars was always dark, but it got like they're decapitating people on Clone Wars. Clone Wars is crazy.
They're not holding back anymore.
But Resistance was definitely the most kiddish of them, I will say. But I definitely enjoy it. I enjoy more episodes. There are definitely episodes I enjoy more than others. Sure. Any episode this season with the character of Tam, I'm loving. Tam is one of my favorite new Star Wars characters. And the way that arc, it's a little predictable the way they're going with it. Well, I don't know because I haven't seen the end. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this because I want to finish it. And then next month I'll definitely get into it because the series finale and all of that.
Yeah.
But I definitely am enjoying what they're doing with that character and her relationship with everyone else. So that's all I have to say about that. What else do you got, boy?
All right, this is my last one. It is a bit of an odd choice for me, kind of a black sheep of this list. It's a documentary.
Okay.
And it's called Alternate Endings, 6 New Ways to Die in America.
Ooh.
I'm taking a class in my art school called Death and Dying.
Mm.
And we're talking about sort of like the process and cultures of dying. And like, it's like a philosophical class. But this documentary was done by HBO, and it's about 6 ways. They're like 6 different types of funerals.
Okay.
Like the movie starts out with a funeral convention with like
convention, like Comic-Con for funeral?
Like a convention center with like different companies advertising like, oh, if you die, we'll put you in this urn.
Who goes to that?
Throw you into a tree. Well, people who are about to die.
The convention?
Yeah. Because I think the funeral industry...
Oh my God. Is this on Netflix?
It's on HBO.
Oh my God.
The funeral industry is...
poppin', because, you know, who isn't going to die?
But, like, they're selling coffins for, like, $6,000. And, like, the coffins burst as soon as you, like, put them underground.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it. But they sort of prey on this whole, like, it's what they would have wanted. Like, you want to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
It's very predatory, very kind of gross. But this movie is about 6 sort of, like, offbeat paths. Like, there's this one company that will turn your urn into a coral reef.
Okay.
And, like, they'll put you on a boat and, like, drive you out into the ocean and drop a coral reef with, like, your urn in it. And so, like, it adds to the, like, the ecosystem, and, like, the fish interact with it, and, like, the plants grow all around it. And it, like, it combats the deforestation of coral reefs. And, right, this woman, it's her dad that dies, and she's on the boat, and she's, like, in the scuba gear. And, like, there's a moment where, like, all the other divers leave, and it's just her with this coral reef that used to be her dad. And there's this quiet moment of her underwater, like, with this thing that she's leaving behind.
Yeah.
And, like, she just sort of, like, touches it. And, like, she's in scuba gear, so you can't really tell what she's going through. But, like, it's so powerful. I did cry a lot during this
documentary. I kind of want to check that out, because that's, like, very emotionally...
There was a group of people in New Mexico who had their ashes put on a rocket and shot it into space.
Dang.
So...
that's got to cost some...
Yeah.
Serious.
The movie split into, like, 6 vignettes. And, right, there's... Okay, the hardest one. I'll only talk about one more. The hardest one to watch was this one older gentleman whose lungs were going out, and he had, like, a set time limit left. And he was like, well, I'm not going to wait for my lungs to go out. I'm going to plan my death day. And so he went to the doctor. They gave him a suicide cocktail. So it's like a bunch of different things that if you mix them will kill you. And like he asked for it, like he signed a bunch of papers.
This is kind of really messed up, but I'm genuinely curious. Is
So
it like a drink, like an actual? No, like does it like taste good or?
He didn't say.
I was gonna say because like, I can't imagine it would, but like if it's gonna be one of the last things you drink, like I want that sucker to taste good.
But it's like this 70, 80-year-old man who's just like, yeah, I'm gonna give it like a few more months, and then I'm out.
Dang.
And like everyone around him is like, oh.
You don't want to see him suffer though. I don't know. That's rough.
And so you kind of watch.
Do you know how you want to go?
Well, this movie this documentary definitely prompted that.
I low key have been thinking about it recently. I'm like, you know, maybe I'll donate my body to science.
Yeah.
Because you know, like, what's it gonna do underground? Because like when people come, what do they see? The tombstone and stuff. That'll still be there.
You want a tombstone, but you don't want to be buried there.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that'll change. I'm still a young man.
Well, right? Like funerals are expensive.
Yeah.
Cost a lot. But like, oh man, like this man who did the cocktail thing, like at the end where he's like, all right, today's the day. Like his family is with him.
Oh my god.
Like in the room, and they're just kind of like, good luck, like I love you.
Oh.
And then they sort
Does it kill you instantly or does it?
It took a while. His wife was with him.
Oh.
And she was the last one in the room with him. And like he drinks it and kind of lies down. And she kind of...
They show it?
They show it.
Oh my god.
And like she sits there and waits with him. Like as it starts to take like effect. And like...
Was he suffering or?
The body reacted a little bit, but like he wasn't suffering.
Oh my god.
And like you just watch him go. Like... in the safety of his home with his wife and his family in the house.
That's insane.
And then once he went, they all just sort of like walked over and they kind of gently picked him up and they put him in the coffin that he built. And that was just kind of it. And right, like in the span of like 2 minutes of documentary footage, that man was alive, he dies, and then he's just gone forever.
That's insane. Wow.
What was the last movie
Let's
you
talk
watched?
About Star Wars, the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars!
Actually, I have a question.
Okay, hit me.
Did I talk about the Taylor Swift documentary?
I don't think on the podcast, no.
On the podcast, no? Well, we're going to talk about Miss Americana.
All right.
The Taylor Swift documentary on Netflix because...
How does she want to die?
This was the first great film of 2020.
Oh,
and I genuinely was not expecting that. I was not expecting it. This made me fall in love with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, what else is new?
Like I was genuinely like I gained so much respect for her as an entertainer, as an like an icon, as an influencer, and just like holy crap! I didn't realize she was a little kid when she got famous. She was like 10 years old, and she came out great. You know, and just like. I just loved hearing about her family, and the best part about this was it was so relatable.
Okay.
Like they really grounded it and made
it. They worked on like making her relatable.
They made her very relatable, and even though like it's in her house and like she talks about how rich she is and stuff, like you still feel like you can relate to her, which I thought was really good. And just the problems she's been through, the different trials and tribulations, and just oh my gosh, her life story. They get into stuff like do you remember the Kanye fiasco?
I sure do.
Like they get into stuff like that, and like she was a little kid when that happened. She was freaking like, I think 16. Could you imagine that happening to you? 16, you win one of the biggest, your dream, and then someone comes on stage and says you didn't deserve it.
I would be mad, and you know what would make me even more mad? If it was Kanye West.
Yeah. But, you know, she gets into, oh my gosh, you know, that happened, though. And not even the fact that Kanye did. She goes, you know, imagine wanting one thing in your life, and you hit it, and you're 16. Like, what do you do now? And she gets into that. She gets into, like, I didn't know she had, like, an eating disorder and stuff. Like, she gets into that. And it's sad, and I was just like, oh my God. And... everything. I genuinely think this is the first great film of 2020.
I have a
question. And I cannot. There's gonna have to be some great films for it to knock it out of my top 10.
Wow.
I genuinely loved this film.
No kidding.
I really want to watch it again. Like I loved it.
Now, if I can ask, did her team make the documentary?
What do you mean?
Like, is this an independent project, or did she is she attached to this documentary?
She's probably attached. It definitely is. Look, there's bias, of course. It's her story. It's her point of view.
Well, it makes me think of like I never seen these, but the Justin Bieber and Katy Perry documentaries.
I've never seen those.
Me neither, but I heard that they were very like almost like propaganda.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like an advertisement.
Okay.
It generally does not. It's cool. You get to see her process, and like, have you heard the song "Me"? She was with the Panic at the Disco dude. It's a really good song, but like you get to see her.
She's
like,
not really in my genre.
Okay, she wasn't until I watched this, and now I'm hooked. So
now you're
like,
hard.
it worked.
What do they call them? Swifties.
Swifties.
You're a Swiftie.
I am. Damn it. And I wear that badge proud. It's dark in here. Can you turn on a light? I feel like I'm
Sure.
like
Keep talking about that.
the city streets are lights are. But I mean, this movie it kept going and going. I definitely preferred. I think the first half I liked a lot more than the second half.
Okay, why
But,
is that?
The second half gets into, you know how people were like getting mad at her because she got very political around the elections and stuff.
I heard there was some controversy. Yeah.
They get into that, and that's just not my cup of tea.
Because her roots are southern, right? She's
Yeah.
a country singer.
Well, it happened in Tennessee and stuff. Basically, there was this lady running, and she was against it. And there's this heartbreaking scene, I will say, where she's trying to convince her parents, who are like on her team and stuff, like, I want to come out and really start getting political and stuff. And her mom's like, yeah, and her dad's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I love you, I support you, but this is a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
well, from a branding standpoint, right? Like,
from branding, he's like, this is a bad idea for you.
Section of your audience.
Like, and they get into others, like female stars who had come out in the past and done that, and it like tanked their careers.
Yeah.
So for me, this documentary was interesting. Would you ever plan on checking it out?
Yes. I have reservations, but I could shake them off.
I think you should. Do you stay out too late?
So awful.
Got nothing in your brain? At least that's what people say. Ooh, ooh.
Are those lyrics?
Yeah. Don't act like
So
you
what?
don't know. Shake it off.
Ooh.
You just.
I didn't know the. I've
You
never
made
heard
me.
this
We're
song.
gonna have a Taylor Swift little.
We don't have to do that.
All right. So my last one.
Yeah.
This was a long podcast. We did good.
Oh God, it's gonna be held at it.
We're gonna bust through that hour mark. I did a little Clone Wars rewatch. I didn't watch the whole thing over, just like the important staple arcs that are really gonna play into this final season.
Okay.
And at this point of recording, we're only 2 episodes into the final season, and I gotta say, I'm not gonna get into the rewatch. It's a phenomenal show. Check it out. That's what I'll say. What the hell are you doing?
I was yawning.
That looked painful. So we're in the middle of this arc called The Bad Batch, and my gosh, there's one scene. So here's what happened.
Who's the Bad Batch?
The Bad Batch is this group of clones that were basically deformed.
Ooh.
And like they have special abilities. Like
Wow.
one's like super smart, basically.
So it's not like they don't have a leg.
No, not like that. Well, they get into that in Clone Wars. There's like a default clone that was all messed up and stuff, named 99, and he died tragically. And this is actually the 99th Clone Battalion,
None
and
of this
his
means
and his
anything.
honor. Well, it
I
means
don't
something
get
to
it.
me.
I'm sorry.
But I will say there was one scene between Anakin, and Padme in this most recent episode,
Yeah.
with an Obi-Wan Rex intervention thing, that
Intervention.
I would have paid the entire year for Disney Plus just to watch that one scene. Like, I genuinely loved that scene. And I gotta say, the
Can
animation...
you talk about it without spoiling it?
No.
'Cause it sounds interesting.
It's very good, and you can tell they're like, this is the final season. Like, and the way Better Call Saul has been inching towards Breaking Bad, this is like on the doorstep of Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
Like, it's so good.
That
It's
does
so
sound
good. And I can't even begin to articulate. The animation this season is beautiful. The way this most recent episode has ended, they showed a character that was basically on the verge of death, and like in old Clone Wars, it would have gotten me, but this it gets you because the animation is so good, it really gets you, and just the way this entire season is animated has some of the best action of the entire series. Some of the best. They had a tracking shot in the first episode, like this tracking shot
Right.
of them breaking into this facility and shooting droids and stuff that is just gorgeous. And I'm in love with what they're doing. And like this was the arc where I was like looking through all of them. This was the one I was the least excited for, and I'm loving it. And I like can't wait for Fridays now. I'm like, oh my god, yes, give me more. And I'm just like, if this is this good, like when we get to Maul and Ahsoka, I'm gonna like. I'm the biggest Maul and Ahsoka fan, so the fact that they're gonna be fighting each other and they've been building this up, and like Maul and Ahsoka interact in Rebels and they talk about it, so we've gotten like little hints to it, and now we're gonna see it, and like Ray Park is coming back into the motion capture for the fight, and Sam Witwer is like a reincarnation of Jesus Christ and just is the best God blessed actor in the world. And I'm standing up right now when I'm walking and I'm pacing just because I'm so
it's kind of scary to watch.
So excited. This was why I got Disney Plus. This was it. They got me hooked now with The Mandalorian, so I'm coming back for a year or two. But I mean, I am ecstatic. It is the best time to be a Star Wars fan. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you need to watch Clone Wars. That is all. As Queel would say, I have spoken.
Who?
The Ugnaught from The Mandalorian.
Oh.
You make me sad.
All right, well, that's what
Thank
we watched
you so
in
much
February.
for coming in for our 1 month anniversary of the Mystery Movies podcast.
Yeah, wow.
And stick around because we got some stuff coming up. We've been shooting ideas. We're gonna be doing some ranking podcasts. So a big franchise is. And yeah, any closing remarks? Be kind. Rewind.
Drive safe.
Drive safe and text me when you get home.
Yeah, text your parents, actually. I'm sure they love you.
Yeah.
You haven't texted them in a while, I know.
Yeah.
Just let them know you're thinking of them.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. That was a bad one.
Yeah, that sucked.
That was really bad.
Yeah, we should just end the whole podcast.
Just delete the whole thing.
Just cancel
I
it.
could do that.
I don't think anyone is ever going to watch these or
Yeah,
listen.
you know what? These are going to like make me cringe.
This is going to ruin our careers. We're going to be asked to host the Oscars, and they're going to find this, and then they're going to go back to no host.
You know what? This was a really...
Oh, get that.
Is that recording?